Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, December 8th, 2014. Of course, the last one before tables, letters, and chairs, and stairs. Plus, the Slammies were, of course, tonight. Overall, tonight's Raw, heading towards TLC, was an okay one. Some okay things added, okay things happened, some decent okay action, okay main event. Plus, a couple matches added to TLC. But first, before we get to the matches of Raw, let's talk about the Slammies themselves and the winners, which I will announce first before we get to the matches. They presented a bunch of awards off air. The big winner was Seth Rollins winning a lot, including the Fan Participation Award, or as I like to call it, Chant of the Year. That's what it should be called. You Sold Out. Won that over $9.99. Made sense. We the people. I'm afraid I got some bad news, and he's got the whole award in his hands. Whole award in his hands should have won that one for best chant / fan participation, but You Sold Out deserved it as much. Also, Seth Rollins won Double Cross of the Year. No shit against the Shield. That's like predictable. Animal of the Year. The Bunny. Next to Rock, winning Best Actor. Treat, the best Twitter handler. At Here Ziggler. Won that one. Deserves good tweets. Rivalry of the Year. Daniel Bryan against the Authority. Okay, that was an okay feud. Especially semi after WrestleMania. But Shield Evolution was a good feud too. As well as Ron and Ambrose. I think one of those two should have won as well. But while Daniel Bryan Authority, decent feud no matter what. Raw Guest Star of the Year. Giving the award, but it went to Hugh Jackman. Better than Larry the Cable Guy. I think Kevin Hart should have won that one, but Hugh Jackman was decent too. Best Couple of the Year. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Faction of the Year. The Shield made sense. Even though they broke up this year, they won the faction. Second year in a row. NXT Superstar of the Year. Also well deserved. Sami Zayn. Speaking of NXT, we did get an NXT action tonight. An NXT star made her stance on the WWE main roster tonight. Promoting NXT TakeOver this Thursday on the network for $9.99. Can't wait for that, by the way. And I'm making a review for that. NXT TakeOver. Our Evolution. I'm making a review for that. Sami Zayn will take on Adrian Neville. I've been applauding NXT lately. Can't wait to see that event. Anti-gravity moment. Seth Rollins dives off the balcony at Payback. These awards were presented during the pre-show on the network. Tell me you did not just say that insult of the year going to The Rock for insulting Rusev during a surprise return in Brooklyn the night a couple weeks before Hell in a Cell. Rock was there. Rusev accepted. Tag Team of the Year. Well-deserved one. Usos winning that award. Breakout Star of the Year was Dean Ambrose, who did not accept at the time because it was selling a storyline injury, although he did appear later on the Wall show. Hashtag of the Year, all came out of nowhere. That kind of makes sense. Better than hashtag 999. They would have probably wigged it to let that win for pre-promotion for the network. But all came out of nowhere won that award, and Seth Rollins accepted that award. And we would kick off the Slammies with the This Is Awesome Award presented by Miz. And of course, the fans voted on the app and purposely saw Sting making his long-awaited debut at Survivor Series. Won that award to help Team Cena win. Means a whole lot. That makes sense for Best Awesome Moment of the Year. Surprise Return of the Year. I predicted most of these awards I was right on. I only predicted the ones that were on the show, not the ones that were presented on the internet. But I was right on the Ultimate Warrior return at WrestleMania in the Hall of Fame and the wall before his untimely death to win surprise return. There was no way that was not going to win. OMG moment. Shocking moment of the year. It was either going to be Seth Rollins turning or Brock Lesnar ending the streak. And it was Brock Lesnar ending the streak at WrestleMania. Because nobody saw that coming. Because Seth Rollins and the Shield breaking up, we knew they were going to pick up eventually. Someone was going to start it. But Brock Lesnar beating Taker or let anyone beat Taker? That was shocking. There was a moment no one thought he'd see. So that unsurprisingly won that award. Even though we hate Brock Lesnar and he should not be champion because he's a part-timing asshole. Diva of the Year. AJ won that one. Deserved. Of course, her husband, now is in UFC. Cannot believe that. Shit. She may win an award for husband who's going to get knocked out in his first fight in UFC, especially if it's against Tommy from the Power Rangers, like Jason David Frank. LOL Woman of the Year. This is purposeful. Mizdow being the stunt double for Miz. Been applauding Mizdow for months, going through all this shit, and hopefully this will get him somewhere, especially the cheers he's been getting lately. Even get a push from Seth Green, who hosted the show tonight. He was decent, by the way. Match of the Year. I kind of disagree with that one, almost. Team Cena against Team Authority Survivor Series. Louis won that one because Sting showed up. And that was a good match, though, but I think Sharon Evolution should have won. And I think Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, the match on Raw or Hell in a Cell, should have been nominated. And the Shield against the Wyatt family should have been nominated from the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So there's a couple they missed nominating. But Team Cena Authority, okay match. Kind of deserved it. And Superstar of the Year. Before that, we had Extreme Moment of the Year. Chris Jericho jumping off the cage on Bray Wyatt on the season premiere of Raw in September. Should have been Rollins curb stomping Ambrose on the concrete to me. But they didn't want a heel win, so I think that's why Jericho won. And he's guest general managing Raw next week in Detroit on Raw. I've been missing it live because I got a comedy show to do. But I will be watching TLC. Make a review of that Sunday night. And Superstar of the Year, Roman Reigns. Now, Roman Reigns should have had a bigger year. If he did not get injured, Roman Reigns would have had a hell of a 2014, bigger than he already did. He had breakout matches with the Shield this year. Of course, the Royal Rumble, most eliminations ever. He had an okay match against Orton at SummerSlam. Decent match against Orton at SummerSlam. And looked like he was being booked to be the next big guy. Then he got injured in September. He's supposed to return soon. I'm hearing he's supposed to return maybe next week on SmackDown in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Of course, Raw's in Detroit next week. So there you go. Now, we got the awards. Let's get into the matches. For Raw, kicking off with Seth Rollins taking on Dolph Ziggler to begin Raw tonight. Decent match with these guys. These two hot guns. You know, they're young studs and looking good. Of course, Rollins and Ziggler both got two big matches this Sunday. Rollins to be taking on Cena in the tables match. And hopefully see if Rollins wins, because I don't want Cena Lesnar 3, because Cena loses his number one contendership if Rollins wins. And Ziggler's got his ladder match. I predicted that last week in my Raw review, taking on Luke Harper for the IC Championship. As these guys had a great athletic matchup. Both guys had to go on for their big moves. Ziggler going for a zigzag a couple times, probably the famous as well. Renailing a DDT. These guys had a great athletic matchup. Until Ziggler was going off the top rope for something, and the referee got distracted for a moment, and that's when J&J Security, of course, Jamie Noble and Joey Mookie. I like that name. Daniel Bryan gave it to him 2 weeks ago. It stuck. You know, J&J Security getting involved, distracting Dolph Ziggler, knocking him off the top rope, setting him up to get a curb stomp, and a 1-2-3 victory for Seth Rollins. On to our next matchup. We have one member of the New Day, Kofi Kingston, taking on Stardust to get revenge after what happened last week during the tag team turmoil. Of course, the New Day, Kofi and Xavier, took on Golden Stardust to begin the turmoil match. They won that match. And they took on Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, and then Golden Stardust got involved, distracting Kofi and Xavier, costing them the match, and costing them an opportunity to fight for the tag team titles at TLC. So it's time for revenge. And that's about the end. It's going to lead to a matchup. It will be a tag team affair at the TLC pay-per-view. It will be the New Day will be taking on the team of Golden Stardust, possibly at TLC. I think we can expect a tag team matchup for that. But who knows which two members are going to be fighting that match. Maybe Kofi and Xavier again. But Kofi tonight took on Stardust in a one-on-one affair. And Cody Rhodes had a great matchup. Once again, at Stardust. Speaking of embracing silly characters like Sandal's been doing with the Mizdow thing. Been applauding Cody Rhodes taking the Stardust character to new heights. And Very freaky, looked really good tonight. Very great, decent little matchup between both these great athletic guys. Kofi, the new gimmick's okay, but I think he should have been heel. Should have been heel. But hey, the New Day is getting over kind of with a chance, and the New Day, trying to sing and dance. The better dances than Brodus Clay was. Anyway, despite decent action for Stardust taking advantage later on the matchup, some big hip drops and all that great high flying stuff. There was a high flying action of Kofi Kingston coming in with the boom drop. Big splash, going up for the crossbody and the 1-2-3 victory for Kofi Kingston, getting a slice of revenge over the New Day. So possibly New Day with Icon going and Stardust this Sunday. We have no word on the pre-show match. May not be announced later. Maybe that's the pre-show match. Then, of course, our next matchup. We have, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we have an NXT superstar making her debut on the main roster tonight to promote NXT TakeOver, Our Evolution Network. The women's champion, Charlotte. Now, we are in Flair Country after all, North Carolina, so it makes sense for anybody from NXT to come on to promote the event on WWE Network. That's Charlotte. Now, we had TakeOver back in September. We had Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, and Tyson Kidd and Tyler Breeze on the show to promote TakeOver back in September. And now we have Charlotte coming on to promote TakeOver. Of course, she'll be taking on Sasha Banks for the NXT Championship. For those who haven't following the NXT storylines, watch it. If you have the network, try not to be a cheap plug here, but watch NXT TakeOver. NXT, I love that show. Love the wrestling on that show. They actually wrestle. Especially Charlotte and Natalya, who had a great matchup at NXT TakeOver. They had an opportunity to really showcase wrestling, especially Charlotte looking good early on. Great grappling matchup, great actual wrestling. Poor NXT's got some great divas who can actually wrestle, like Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. So you got a lot of great divas on that wrestling locker room. But despite Charlotte looking good, even countering Natalya's sharpshooter into the figure four, Natalya would get out of that to go for a small package and a 1-2-3 victory for Natalya, pinning the Divas champion of NXT. With Tyson Kidd, of course, at ringside. Of course, Tyson Kidd's like an NXT competitor. So it's kind of cool to see Charlotte in NXT, even though she lost. I hope it's not a sign of things to come for her to lose against Sasha Banks at the pay-per-view event NXT TakeOver Our Evolution on Thursday. I think she'll retain unless Sasha's new BFF, Becky Lynch, gets involved. And like I said, I'll make a review of that NXT TakeOver event Thursday night. Can't wait for that. Now, with our next situation, Bray Wyatt coming out. Talking about what happened with him and Bray Wyatt. What happened with him and Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. After Dean Ambrose last week broke the chair of Bray Wyatt. He was talking about how that chair meant a lot to him. The rocking chair that Ambrose smashed last week. And then Bray did, in fact, smash the hell out of Dean Ambrose with a steel chair. They went about storyline-wise. They said it was clear for TLC. He didn't appear during the pre-show, like I said, to accept his award for Breakout Star of the Year. But he did come out in an ambulance during the Bray Wyatt segment. It was dark, so it made a lot of sense to have the ambulance come out when the lights were off. So the ambulance came out. Here comes Dean Ambrose, pulling out chairs and tables and started a fight with him and Ambrose and Wyatt just brawling outside the ring. Bray, ladders were tossed in, chairs was tossed in, and a table set up. And right before Ambrose had a chance to try to put Bray Wyatt through a table, Bray Wyatt slid on a dodge before any damage was done. But basically, Ambrose got the mic saying, Bray, at TLC, you're mine. That should be a great matchup. The TLC match between those two guys, they should tear it up at Hell in a Cell. The match at Survivor Series was pretty good, even though it was DQ, but I knew it was going to be a DQ to set up the match at TLC, which it did. So there you go. Now on to the next matchup. Eric Ward against Luke Harper. These two haven't had a one-on-one match since the Wyatts broke up and they became babyface and heel. They had a confrontation at Survivor Series. Of course, they were both on Team Cena and Team Authority, respectfully, but they didn't have a chance to go one-on-one. They had an okay one-on-one matchup. Two big guys. Like, when two big guys ball, mostly punch and kicking, but these two guys are very agile and very athletic big men, especially Eric Warren's former partner, Luke Harper, who's the current IC champion. And Harper had set up a ladder to symbolize his ladder match against Dolph Ziggler this Sunday for the IC Championship. So they brought outside the ring. And then Harper used the ladder, calls in a disqualification. Then they brought outside the ring again. Then Harper ended up getting eaten with the steel steps. Wailing against the steel steps by Eric Warren, who of course takes on Big Show in a stairs match. Hence the new name, Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs. And I don't mind, it's still TLC, not TLCS. It's still Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Oh my. It's not Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs. Oh my. It's Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. The chairs match kind of a stairs match. It's kind of a stupid thing. So there you go. Now on to our next affair, our 6-man tag team matchup. Ryback teaming up with the Usos, taking on their respective TLC opponents. Kane will of course be taking on Ryback in a chairs match. And Miz and Mizdow defending the tag team titles against the Usos. Because Jimmy Uso wanted a piece of Miz, who of course last week gave Jimmy's real life wife Naomi. Finally using that marriage in storylines, that real-life marriage in storylines. To be using real-life marriages in storylines, like Natalia and Tyson Kidd, Brian, Daniel, and now using Naomi and Jimmy Uso's real-life marriage as Uso's wife got a business card for Miz last week. Jimmy doesn't trust the Miz, even though Naomi said that Miz liked her talent and got her a screen test. See if that's any true or not. Maybe a screen test for a porno. Little does he know. That could be the case. But this is TVPG WWE, so probably that won't fucking happen. Knowing them. But 6-man tag, decent little matchup. Ryback against Kane. I hope Ryback does well, because Ryback's on momentum again. You know, after I thought when he had that big push in 2012, I thought it was too soon for him to be champion. You know, they were pushing him too fast. I thought the same thing about Sheamus when he won the championship in 2009. But I think Ryback should have been champion in 2012. I hate to say that. I love Punk, and Punk was the champ at the time. Longest reigning champion in recent WWE history. So going to UFC, of course. But Ryback might have been champion. He could have been champion in 2012. And then momentum slid after a heel turn. It goes Ryback. So getting back on the road again. But he's feuding against Kane. It could be the kiss of death if this match starts with Kane. Because Kane is stale as a rock right now. His character's going nowhere. You know, he's not knowing if corporate became a monster. He should go back to being a monster. Since the authority's gone, Kane needs to go back to being the big red machine King. You know, since Triple H is gone and Stephanie's gone, he should put the mask back on, or at least shave his head again, give her that corporate hair, and be the Monster King again. But it looked okay in this matchup against Ryback. And the last couple seconds of the matchup, it was just, that was when chaos happened. You know, big flying moves. So that, you know, Uso started flying away. And, you know, double drop kick started flying, and Miz and Jimmy Uso getting it on. Until Miz got tossed aside, then tossed over the top, and then Mizdow wasn't even playing his role to perfection, acting everything Miz is doing. Got tossed up as well, tossed himself off before seeing the meat hook and the shell shock for the Miz, who got back in the ring to get the moves from the Ryback, and 1-2-3 victory for Ryback and Usos. Like last couple minutes were chaotic with the, you know, the kicks and the big moves, and of course leading up to the meat hook and the shell shock for Ryback on Miz. He's sending a message to Kane for this Sunday. And of course Usos getting ready for that match against Miz and Mizdow this Sunday for the tag team titles. So we should see what happens there. Speaking of getting ready for the matches on TLC, of course tag team of the year got their warm up. We have the Diva of the Year warming up for her title rematch against Nikki Bella at TLC this Sunday. MJ took on Summer Rae. Unlike the last Divas match, that was pretty good. Of course, seeing NXT women actually wrestle. Charlotte and Natalya, once again, a great promotion. Not just a great promotion for NXT, but great promotion for the network, because NXT is on the network. You know, they get a free plug for the network that way. So win-win for everybody. Win for the fans, because they did see some great NXT wrestling, and win for the Ricas that get to promote the network. So it's a win-win all around. So put more NXT guys in there. I hope to see some NXT guys in the Royal Rumble. Since I'm hearing they're not going to bring any ECW guys to the Royal Rumble. Since they were thinking about it because they're in Philly, they're going to bring back some ECW guys. But I'm hearing they're not going to do that. They did bring RVD to present the Extreme Moment of the Year. So I was going to see him again. Present. But AJ kind of a squasher against Summer Rae. Got a big moves in. Summer Rae looked okay-ish, blondie, but still AJ got the big move in. Summer Rae, of course, making her smack that ass, bitch, to the big window, baby. Victory for AJ. Sending a message to Nikki Bella. I expect Brie to be involved again, maybe. After that kiss of death, paying back AJ for the kiss of death on Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 28. I said 27. I said 28 and 27 again. So that was my mistake. But at least I was right the first time, 28. Brie returned the favor to AJ at Survivor Series, so maybe she'll be involved again in this match. At Survivor Series. This rematch at TLC. And mentioned, of course, speaking of Survivor Series match of the year, was, like I said, Cena Authority. Ricky Beck and Steamboat presented that award. Makes sense. He is a holder of the match of the year, in my mind, and probably one of the matches of all time. Him and Macho Man at WrestleMania 3. You can watch that match anytime. Anytime the match is on, I just love watching it every time. It's just a classic. It's a classic. Next up, we have, of course, the main event. John Cena taking on the Big Show. Redemption for Cena after Big Show knocked him out at the Survivor Series. But we've seen this feud many times. Big Show may have a special spot for Cena because Big Show was the first guy that Cena beat for a championship in WrestleMania 20 for the United States Championship. That was his first major title. And I know Big Show and Cena's feuded a couple of times throughout the years. Like I said, in 04, in 09. So now, this is like a mini feud. And being okay, it was an okay little matchup from Cena and Big Show. Cena doing a 5-knuckle shuffle and Big Show grabbing him, blocking it. It was okay little matchup. Cena's going for the big moves. He even got the FU on him. He's done that millions of times. So he FU Big Show, and I thought to myself, Seth Rollins is going to get involved. I was thinking to myself, this match is going to end in some sort of disqualification with Seth Rollins coming out. That's what happened. As Cena was about to get the victory after the FU on Big Show, here comes aforementioned Rollins with J&J Security, beat him crap out of Cena. So we ended last week's Raw with a brawl. We end this week's Raw with a brawl as well. After the match, they started beating up on Cena. They beat J&J Security and Rollins. And Rollins grabbed the ladder. And as he was going to jump off the ladder, Cena was benched in the position to get curb stomps. And just before Rollins could jump up that ladder to curb stomp Cena off it, here comes Dolph Ziggler to the rescue, attacking everybody until Big Show came in, knocking out Dolph Ziggler. And then Eric Warren came out, and he got attacked from behind from Luke Harper. And the Steps were once again involved. And then Ryback got involved. He started brawling everybody with a meat hook. And he was going for the shell shock, which he got to shell shock Harper through a table that was set up. And then Kane came in. I knew that was going to go down. Like all the major TLC matches got involved in this big brawl. Kane, Ryback, Harper, Ziggler, Warren, Big Show, Cena, Rollins. So then Kane came in, taking out Ryback. Then Ziggler came in after the knockoff of Big Show, coming up some big super kicks. Until another table came in, and Harper delivered a big move to Ziggler through that table. So then Cena came in, FU'd Luke Harper. And then he was in the wrong position the wrong time. He kneeled down after FUing Harper, which put him in the right position to get curb stomped by Luke Harper's former Team Authority partner, Seth Rollins. And then we saw this last week. Shield we do. This time on the announce table, the triple powerbomb done by Seth Rollins and J&J Security, doing a powerbomb on Cena through the table. And we ended Raw with a brawl last week. And last week's brawl ended with Cena and his babyface brethren standing tall. But tonight's Raw also ended with a brawl, but this time the bad guys were left standing gloriously in the end after Rollins FU'd Cena, not FU, but powerbomb Cena through the table, sending a message, and I hope that's the scene at TLC. Rollins standing tall, putting Cena through a table. I don't care if JJ security helps, but I want Rollins to win. I said this last week, I'll say it again. 2 reasons why I want Rollins to win at TLC. 1, so Cena can get Rollins over without getting pinned, since Cena doesn't like getting pinned because of his ego. And number 2, so Cena can lose his title opportunity. We don't have to see Lesnar Cena 3. So there you go. So TLC this Sunday. We have, of course, the TLC match, Wyatt and Ambrose. Tables match, Cena and Rollins. IC title ladder match, Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper. We also got a US title match set up tonight. Rusev against Jack Swagger. They had a little segment early on in the evening as well. I knew that match was going to get added eventually. The feud is being renewed after Rusev attacked Zeb Coulter last week. Of course, we got the chairs match, Ryback and Kane. The stairs match, Warren and Big Show. Nikki Bella against AJ Lee. Miz and Mizdow against Usos for the tag team titles. Like I said, New Day is slated to take on Star and Goldust. Which two, we don't know. We don't know a pre-show match. And that's not the only event. As I mentioned, the NXT TakeOver Evolution's coming. Like I said, I've been watching NXT a lot, and I think it's a great wrestling program. The last event, NXT TakeOver in September, was awesome. This should be no exception. We got, of course, the tag team titles for NXT. For anyone who hasn't seen NXT, anything, let alone a 2-hour special, watch it on the network. I don't mean to cheap plug the network, but I love NXT. Great wrestling edge. Tag team titles, we have the Lucha Dragons, great high-flying guys, Kalisto and the replayed Hunico, a.k.a. Sin Cara. They're a decent tag team. They take on another decent tag team, Vaughn Villains. I love their look. I love their gimmick. Love everything. I think they should be tag team champions eventually. But Lucha Dragons is the first defense ever since the beginning. The Ascension, who I've been saying for months, should be in the main roster soon. Because they're a dominant tag team. They would really shake up the tag team division once the Ascension comes in. If they ever get in the main roster. Divas title, like I mentioned, Sasha Banks takes on Charlotte for the title. We got Hideo Itami and Finn Balor. Two great young guys. Taking on the aforementioned The Ascension. They had a little feud going on. The Ascension had the tag team titles and lost it because Hideo got involved in a matchup. And he's been double teamed for weeks until he finally got his partner Finn Balor. That should be a great tag team match right there. They had a little fight, but not a full match yet. And of course, the main event. Sami Zayn against Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship. These two guys are great athletes. I'm a Sami Zayn guy. He's my favorite guy. He won NXT Superstar of the Year. He's beloved in the roster. He had a great one-on-one match against Adrian Neville a few weeks ago to set up the match at Our Evolution. I think Sami Zayn will become NXT Champion at the Our Evolution event this Thursday on the network. Like I said, I'll be reviewing that, and I'll be reviewing TLC. Speaking of reviews, thank you for watching this review, this Raw review. Thank you all very much for watching this. With that in mind, y'all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you all very much for watching. See you later. Yeah.